All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Energy Awareness Commission for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. First item on the agenda is item 1.1, which is the minutes from our November 8th of 2022. Is there any questions or discussion as far as the minutes? I guess, is there anything we need to do about the B and C issue, or?
I can look into it and correct it
Okay.
so they're correct before they get published.
Yeah, it's got the right best practice number,
Right,
just
I'm
like
not-
it copied the text for some
Yeah,
reason,
they're-
so.
I'm not sure what the reasoning is
Yeah.
behind the wording being the same since it's the software generates it.
Yep,
It's
that's fine.
duplicated somewhere within it, so.
Yep, that's fine.
I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 8th, 2022.
We have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for November 8th of 2022. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and second to approve the November 8th, 2022 Energy Awareness Commission minutes. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Under reports from officers, boards, and commissions, item 2.1 are CIP account statements. Derek, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead.
So I have attached to the agenda item 3 forms. So we'll start with the overview of the 2022 account overview. As of right now, there's $60,849 left in all accounts between the gas and electric for our conservation improvement programs. Just over 36,000 was budgeted for the natural gas rebates, 2022, and we've rebated actually 55,000 just through natural gas programs. So that would leave an estimated $144,000 rebated through the electric programs for 2022. The 2023 account overview, we have quite a bit more funds in for 2023 than we've had since I think I've been in this position. We have just over 300,000 budgeted for both natural gas and electric programs. Of that 300,000, 44,000 is directly budgeted to natural gas programs. If you look at one of the attachments, which would be the 2023 CIP account statement, there is no money into district energy steam rebate accounts. But what we will be doing is we'll be carrying forward 2022 funds into that account for 2023. And additionally, the district energy steam department will be funding more of that program than the actual natural gas department, because that generally was taken from the natural gas department's revenue, and there's not much natural gas, that rebate in that account isn't really helping out the natural gas department. It's helping out the steam department. So that's kind of the summary between everything. I just attached, the first attachment is just a 2021 and 2022 comparison all the way through December of each of those years, that you can kind of see the difference between the variance of the amounts of the accounts that were used to what was rebated at that time in 2021 to 2022. Then I have the balance sheet for 2022, and then also 2023, which is all zeros because we haven't rebated anything yet for 2023. But that's kind of, you can see how much money is in each account. And, all these accounts within the 2023 directly either rebate money or bill credit to customers, or If it doesn't, it's in the form of, our conservation calendar that we do every year and the newsletters, or maybe some school programs. So that's all money directly is, given back to the customer.
Derek, do you, and this has been a few years, so I don't remember exactly what it was. Do they still do like a poster program? Did we have something with posters?
We haven't done that for at least, probably the year before. Everything's going to be said before COVID, after COVID, but probably a year before COVID, we
Okay.
didn't do that. The schools didn't seem to be as
Interested in it?
interested in it, and then we had that little pandemic. They
Yeah.
weren't going into the schools, and they weren't having, they weren't in schools. So there's some other things that I think we're going to be trying to do. I know we're going to be doing something hopefully soon with the 9th grade from the public high school touring the power plant. So I think I'm going to try to take advantage and remind them that we have that power grid kit
Oh,
that
yeah.
I showed like a few years ago, and try to get that, whether it's to push them to use it more or find a way that I can go in the classrooms and kind of show it off and use it that way. So
That,
we need to kind of replace something with that, get involved in the schools a little bit more now. Other than that, there's not much else. The biggest thing with the overall budget for this is I think we're going to see the budgets higher like this each year, and they'll be even much higher if we're required to have natural gas programs going forward, because I think in one of the last meetings, and to kind of fill Deb in since she's new, so these programs are funded by the electric and the natural gas departments.
Here in New Ulm?
And with,
Or
yep,
statewide?
no, just with, different utilities have these programs at their utilities. So within the New Ulm Public Utilities, the electric department funds anything that has to do with the electric programs, and the natural gas funds the programs that capture natural gas savings and rebate for natural gas appliances or actions. And that's through state statutes. And within the state statute that oversees this program, one of the requirements for a natural gas entity to offer these programs is how much natural gas they sell. So they have to sell over 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas in a year to offer these programs. So if they sell over 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas, they have to, under state statutes, after this state statute, offer programs to customers.
How much does New Ulm?
We sell under that.
Okay.
So we voluntarily put money into these programs.
Oh, okay.
If we would, for example, sell over 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas, we would be required under that state statute to offer these programs, which then also puts into effect, we have to not only offer these programs, but we have to capture 1.5% savings from that amount of gas that we sold. And in order to capture that, it gets complicated. In order to capture that savings, we will have to probably increase the budget for the natural gas programs like $100,000 just to capture those savings, because it just gets more difficult with natural gas. So it gets complicated because they, they just changed a lot of things within the programs just this last year. So there's going to be a learning curve for even myself as well. So, but that's all I have regarding that.
It's going to be harder and harder to do that after everybody has all these.
Yeah,
fuel
it is.
efficient
It's going to
things.
be them tweaking it every few years
Yeah.
with newer technologies and newer everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll make the motion to approve the CIP account statements.
we got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve the CIP account statements. Any other questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 2.2 are CIP state reports. Derek, whenever you're ready.
So these reports on this portion of the agenda, they're the 2022 reports that they got filed in 2022, but they're for 2021 programs. So the two attachments, one is for the electric programs and the second is for the natural gas programs. They're kind of long. There's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of words and numbers and but I guess the biggest thing to take away from both of these is the first being the natural gas programs. It was a voluntarily run programs. We captured 4,800 MCF, which is 1,000 cubic feet from our programs. Our spending that we rebated to customers through our natural gas programs was $82,336, and that's kind of the summary of that. Within all of them, maybe we'll just go to the electric highlights, and then we'll get in some other items. The savings from the rebates we gave out in 2021 totaled 2,228,608 kilowatt hours. So there's probably 200,000 of those that we were able to use from our 69 kV project that we did a few years ago. So when a utility gets over a certain percentage, I'll take a step back. So going back to the money that we give out to customers and the savings we need to capture within this state statute, we have to put a certain percentage of our revenue into these programs. Well, that's what we had to do. Now it's changed. Now it's just we need to capture a certain amount of savings. So at this time, we had to put in 1.5% of our electric revenue into these programs. From that money, we need to capture savings from the customers when we give them that money. So the money, the savings that we received from customers when we rebated back to the customer $244,750, we captured 2.2 million kilowatt hours. And that 1.5% savings we need to capture needs to be through the programs that we rebate to customers. However, once we get to the point of getting to at least 1% of that 1.5% that's a requirement, we can use internal projects within the utility to help meet that 1.5%. So we did a project internally where we redid some transmission lines that captured a huge amount of savings. And we can use that over the course of the next 5 years if we are short from that 1.5%. So as long as we meet 0.995%, 1%, we can use internal projects. And that's why we were able to capture that 2.2 million kilowatt hours.
Sorry to be late.
That's all right. No problem. You're here. That's what's important.
Here. Do we have a quorum?
We did. Yeah. Yep.
You did
We
without.
did.
Yeah,
Yep.
very good.
Yep. We're good.
Derek,
Yeah.
you're talking about the 2 million kilowatt hours that was saved. How do you find that number?
The Department of Commerce has algorithms for each possibility. Whether it's a refrigerator
Okay.
being installed to a dishwasher to even the project that I mentioned, that 69 kV project that went across the river. There's actually an algorithm in that technical reference manual is what it's called, the Minnesota Technical Reference Manual for the savings. And they look at all aspects. From the dishwasher, they look at what's a baseline to what's the efficient and a savings there, but they factor in, is the person using an electric water heater? Is the person using a natural gas water heater? What's the average temperature? You know, if it could be something else like a water heater, they're looking at similar things. What's the average temperature of the groundwater in southern Minnesota, or to compare to if the person's doing the same thing in northern Minnesota? They have
So
it's they look at many aspects of
Yeah, so if you've got 10 people that replace the refrigerator, it's 10 times whatever.
In that
savings they
case,
think.
with the refrigerator is pretty standard, so I could find one calculation and multiply it by the rest.
Okay.
Others might
Okay.
be different because they could be looking at like I can't remember if the dishwasher's like that, or say a washing machine, or a chest, well, not the chest freezer, but it's either a dishwasher or a washing machine or a dryer. Might be looking at the cubic feet of the machine as well. So
Do you base these things on the people sending in their rebate or asking for the rebate, or? do
right,
you
so
try to do
we
that?
we have customers now have the possibility to fill out the forms through the city's website. It's all online. They can upload an invoice, a copy of it, and fill it out through the website, the software, and submit it that way. Not everybody can do that, so we still take hard copies from people. We just have to have as much information as we possibly can get, and most importantly, a copy of the receipt or the invoice.
You assume that you get a fairly high percentage of responses from people that buy things.
We do. Yep. This year, I think just with the way things are, it's kind of odd that we have $60,000 left in all the programs. Usually, it's maybe at the most 20. So that's quite a bit difference, but it all depends on how many get submitted in a year.
Do we just lose the 60,000 or?
It goes back to the utility. So, but the whole point is to spend it. So, but we know we do carry over some. We'll carry over, almost 11,000 from the one account. So that's why it's important for people to not only know that they can submit them, but submit the right paperwork and purchase the right products and do the right actions that qualify. Because there's always a handful that don't meet the criteria that get denied.
Do you depend on the appliance people to tell customers all this?
To a point. Sometimes, a lot with like the air conditioning units, mini splits, furnaces, that's, those vendors know quite a bit because that's also a selling point for them to push, there's a public utilities rebate for $275. This $275 off this price,
Right.
here's your bottom line. So they're really good at helping with the programs.
Derek, do you feel that online, having the online application, has that helped with getting complete applications? Are we getting more incomplete applications now with the online compared
No,
to what?
they're probably the ones that are submitted are more complete.
Complete.
And as time goes, it's another way to make sure if there is missing information. Sometimes the only way to get a hold of someone is to write and mail a letter because they did not give the finance department, when they set up their billing, an email address or a phone number. All they gave was their name with that address. So on the fillable forms, there's a phone number and there's an email. If there's an email and it doesn't meet the criteria, the software is set up where I wrote out a general deny letter that can get sent to them right away. So they know right away, and then they can respond and tell them why it didn't meet the criteria or it's missing information. So I think in the long run, it'll help. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I know for quite a while we were getting quite a large number that were missing information and that
Right.
stuff, so.
Yep.
And that's gotten better.
It's gotten better, yeah. Because, I had another reason why we did this. There's lots of reasons. There's an asterisk next to certain things, which if you've done anything online, it means it's mandatory. So if there's not an invoice included, it won't allow the person to submit the application. So it's forcing them to attach it or at least contact us. this won't send. Well, so we can work with them that way and catch it before they submit it.
Other questions or discussion about the 2022 CIP state reports? Otherwise, I'd be looking for a motion.
Also move.
Okay, I have a motion. Do we have a second to receive?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and second to receive and order file the 2021 CIP state reports. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item 2.3 then gets us back to the Green Steps cities, and this is a summary of our activities and what has been submitted since through the end of 2022.
So I'm not sure if everyone has had an opportunity to look at this. There's a lot of information. I guess one important thing is we've reached step 2. So if we would look at page, I think it'd be page 3. Yeah. So step 1 was to have the city council, say that City of New Ulm wants to be a Green Steps city participant. Step 2 was to complete any 8 best practices. So we had to meet the criteria for 8 of those best practices, which is what we did. Guidelines for step 3. So step 3 is we have to get all these boxes check marked to actually complete step 3, which would be the next kind of goal, I guess you could say. So we've done a few. We're about halfway done with that, actually. But I guess I was just looking to see if anybody had any questions regarding this assessment.
So any discussion or questions around the assessment? I know we'll talk a bit more about where we're going here on the next item, but
Yeah, we can use the assessment with that item as well, if we like.
otherwise we'd be looking for a motion to receive an order filed on that, if there's no questions or discussion.
I'll move then.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second to receive an order filed, the Green Step Cities assessment so far?
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any other questions or discussion regarding that at the moment? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, have nothing under the old business this time, so we'll go right into new business. And 4.1 is further discussion on the Green Step cities.
So I'll just add that there's, under the overview, there's best practices 12.6, add, expend transit service or promote car bike sharing, and 16.7, conduct a tree inventory or canopy study for public and private trees. Those are a couple items that that actually Jordy brought up that we might be able to work on next if that's something that we want to look into. We can, and we should. We do, I believe, 12.6 and 16.7. We do actually have those complete, but I think that's one thing with this program is even though a community has those best practices complete, you can always add on to like ones you've already done and always do actions within the best practice, even though that best practice is complete. It's kind of everything with this whole program is ongoing. And it's whether it's to approve upon or act and go forward with many different things. So
But we still get credit for that if it's.
yeah, you still get credit. I mean, you get it shown that you've completed and you get a star
Who
that
would do
way.
that? Who would conduct the tree inventory?
They've done that already. That's why it's on the list.
Oh.
The tree commission had a Green Corps member 3 years ago,
About
and
3
then
years
back
ago
a few
now,
years
yeah.
now, that went around and actually did that throughout the whole
Okay.
community.
So that one's already done.
So it's actually already done. It's just gathering the information, putting it together, and sending it to them. Which would be conduct 16.7. So best practice 16, which is community forest and soil. We have completed that. We needed to complete 2 actions, and we've actually done that already. But I think it's good, especially when something's done already, to show more importantly the community another way that we've show them another way that we've done something. So besides those 2, I guess the biggest thing I was looking for with this agenda item was to just discuss or put in your heads that I'm looking for the Energy Awareness Commission to kind of dig in a little bit within this and come up with some items that you'd like to look into and how much each of you as volunteers want to put in your own time into maybe kind of looking into and researching some of those.
Kind of going off it, you had given us these sheets quite a while ago, but I
Yep.
think they were updated.
They kind of went, I mean, that's still something you can use. It's pretty much on what you're looking at on the screen.
But it's not all on there.
Yeah,
What's that?
I think I've been trying to follow. I don't know if people think that this is their new
Yeah,
assessment
that's,
thing.
yeah.
if
So everything
that's-
you have on that Excel spreadsheet that I printed out
Yeah.
that they had should be on what's on your screen now that,
Okay, I can't get to that.
oh yeah, but then that's something I can, I can print out at the office and give to you.
Okay,
It's a lot more easier to follow, which is why they went to that. Because it's just, the Excel spreadsheets, you print it out, that you can actually read it is this long.
I got
mean,
one of them, yeah.
It's 11 by 17 piece of paper, and yeah, it wasn't user friendly. Where this is a little more user friendly.
Okay, yeah, if you could do that.
I can print it out. And I can email it to you also because there are links in there that you can when you're on your computer. You can they're clickable links,
Okay,
so you can go directly. If you're wondering about a best practice, you can click on that number, and it will go to the Green Step Cities page
okay,
to that direct best practice, and you look into it.
okay.
And I realize everyone here is a volunteer, so I'm not asking to spend all your free time, but a little bit of input and a little bit of research would be much appreciated when you have it. Is I guess all I'm looking for. So this is more of it's a discussion. It's not something that we need to vote on. I think it's just a ongoing discussion. Each meeting, or if we don't have a meeting, but you're looking into something, to contact me. And we can talk individually as well. So
looking at the best practice 14, that demand side travel planning, since we just started that new bus service, it might be interesting to be a part of that and see how well it's doing and what we could do to help encourage and make it
Right.
better.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be it. And you know what's really nice is it's something that they've just started, so we can gather that information from the get go and follow it, and it might work with some of these other actions. So there's, you know, a best practice in this case. You said is best practice 14, demand side travel planning. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's 4 in this one. That point 1 or whatever, that's the action
Right.
of the best practice. So
I'm on that advisory committee for the new bus,
All right.
the routed bus, so to
Yep.
speak. I think the exciting part of that is that, you know, the state has put us at the top of the list to get electric ones.
Oh,
And I think we're talking 2 years, so it's
yeah,
not overnight.
right.
But nonetheless, it was just the timing of how we started the service, the strong support from MinDOT for us to do it at all, cooperation from city officials has been excellent. It's just fallen together nicely,
Yeah,
and the usage is higher than the state can't believe how quickly
oh really?
the usage was just there. But you know, in terms of that electric piece and the efficiency of the whole operation, it's something that we do want to study.
Oh sure, yeah,
You know, we used to have diesel buses, and that was just a winter issue with them. Then we went to the gas, and wow, they are inefficient. You know, 6-7 miles per gallon is,
Yeah.
is considered an average, I guess. So when they offered us possibility of being early and pretty near first in the state on this, we just jumped at it and said yes. Then they told us the 2 years.
right.
Oh,
Well, that's
then they told us they couldn't get us a gas one right now either.
yeah. Well, everything is still taking such a long time.
Yeah.
Whether it's like for us pad mount transformers to, you know, if utilities wanted to go full scale with solar. I mean, would have had to order them, you know, years ago. Same. I mean, there's just so many things that
slow and coming.
take forever to get now. So
And I understand that there's problems that have come up with how much these electrics are gonna cost. That wasn't too well known a few months ago.
yeah,
Now the companies that produce them are saying, oh, and this is what it's gonna cost. It's like, well, I'm glad the state really wants to help us out, but I wonder, you know, where they're coming from on this. We'll have a meeting here soon, and that subject will come
so
up.
was some of that funding from the Volkswagen diesel
No.
settlement? No.
We didn't, it just, the state doesn't tell us where they get all of it.
Sure.
We just know that from a federal level, in that transportation package that was passed last summer,
Okay, that one.
there's a
Yeah.
chunk of money in
Yeah.
there for mass transit, period. So then, Minnesota fortunately jumped on that. And, so now the question is the details.
Yeah.
And we were already had decided we were gonna do this in-town, routing, but, and we decided that, and the state said they could fund that before the new funding actually started rolling from that new legislation that was passed, that huge package for all kinds of transportation. And so it was kind of good news on top of good news for New Ulm's transit systems, both of them for that matter.
Right.
But now we're waiting for the news. How much are we talking about here?
The facilities to be able to charge the buses? And you'd need a number of buses, because how long do they take to
We
charge?
need 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah, and that's what's on order. And the whole charging part of it is part of the grant. because, yes, you're right. We gotta have, obviously, 24 hours a day's charging ability.
Right.
So, no, that's all part of it. We have the bus garage, whether it's adequate at this point for 2 more, or will we have less gas? It's all in the works. All problems have got to be worked out.
So you're going to keep the 2 gas and add the 2 electric?
We just really have one now that was a used one out of Hutchinson.
Okay.
And it had 200,000 on it when we got it. And at the rate we're putting it on, the miles on it, but something else is going to happen with gas before we ever even get those electrics. It seems like we acquired a really good bus for really low price, but on the other hand, 200 is 200.
But eventually you're just going to have the 2 electric then, or are you going to?
For the in-city route, the 2 electrics and the gas ones that we use for Heartland Express, there's 7 of those, so, and 5 in operation in any given day, most days of the week. So those are available for the city route.
Okay.
They're not gonna be colored right and the whole thing, because these electric ones are gonna be all special looking and unique looking.
It'd probably be the electric would be the main, and then the other ones would kind of fill in if need be for some reason or something. would
Well,
come
the
up.
other ones, the 7, are used for the current dial-a-ride, I call it, but
Okay.
so, and 2 of them are quite old, and the other 5, 3 of them are over 200 too.
So they're all,
So there's been,
Yeah.
COVID just caused a lot of delays, and getting the new buses for the gas, it's been a big problem. So we've kind of got a bunch of 7 old timers there, which are doing well. But they're going to have to do well for a while. So I don't know how that's going to go. The state really stays on top of this particular program. You know, they have people assigned to us that here in this room every time we have an advisory meeting, and they know what we're doing and we know what they're doing. So it's a nice cooperative kind of thing with the state.
good that they have that connection with that, to be that involved with it.
They
So,
they are committed to to mass transit. I'm talking about MnDOT.
Yeah.
yeah. Any other questions or discussion related to that?
I'll make a motion to receive and order file discussion on Green City's best practices.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion, we have a motion in second to receive and order file the discussion on the Green Step City's best practice. Any other questions or discussion? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Anybody have, I have a couple things here, but anybody else have any commissioner comments or other questions? Okay, I'll just take a moment then to welcome one of our new members, Deb. So thank you and welcome. If you have any questions or anything, just ask.
Well, as soon as
So-
I have enough knowledge to ask the question.
Then one other thing I thought of after I had talked to Derek was the home show. I know in the past, I don't know if they're doing anything this year or if Derek even has any information.
Is there going to be?
They are doing it, but the public utilities is not going to be involved this year.
Okay.
They're going to be using those funds elsewhere.
Where? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can't be a part of that.
I don't know. I'd have to look to see if I put any funds. No, actually no. Because there won't be. I mean, a booth
yeah.
itself is as a non-chamber member is, I can't remember, 300 and some or 500. It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So the public utilities, is this, hopefully yet this week, the public utilities has been around for 120 years this year. So we're gonna be trying to do something a little bigger. And the home show usually is budgeted like $3,000 just to sit there and buy knickknacks that people grab and don't talk to us. So to me,
Other ways
there's,
to.
we could be doing something else with $3,000,
Yeah.
in my opinion. At least this
Yep.
year. Next,
So we're
the
gonna
following
be-
year could be
I was
different.
just curious.
We're going to
so.
be involved in that then with public utilities this year?
Be with the home show, no.
No, with the anniversary thing.
Oh, the Energy Awareness Commission?
Yeah.
That I don't know if the Energy Awareness Commission is going to be involved. Usually $3,000 for the home show is just public utility stuff. And then it'd budget like $1,000 and the Energy Awareness Commission would have some items there. So that's all the Energy Awareness Commission really contributed to the home show. I mean, other than volunteering their time at the booth, but as for the booth and the material, most,
Yeah, I just remember
most of the
sitting
money
down there.
was from,
Yeah.
yeah.
You've done that?
Yeah.
So, yep,
Okay, I was
that's
just
the plan
cu-
this
just
year.
curious.
Yeah. No,
just,
yeah, yep,
So,
yep.
okay. all right.
I did have a question, speaking about public awareness. When I was reading through this stuff, do we give, or do the people, like I know somebody who's planning on building a house this year. Do people that are do either the builders of houses, the actual people that build them, do we give them information about all these energy saving things?
Well,
and
we
comparisons of
put out a
furnaces and all
bi-monthly
this?
newsletter that talks about rebates. Before I came, and you always have to publicize things because there's new community members,
Right,
there's new,
mhm.
but there's always something out there
Okay, well,
about rebates, whether it's in the newsletter. Everybody should be getting a newsletter. Every customer should be getting a conservation calendar. Hopefully, if I do the mailing correctly, in theory they're supposed to. The conservation calendar talks about energy efficiency. There should be things talked about rebates in each month of the calendar. The same with the newsletter. So it's out there.
Okay. I just think it might be a
Sometimes,
good
yeah,
place to have it, comparisons of like the different types of furnaces and energy systems, like solar. Do you want to, if I'm building a house, do I want to put in a solar panel on my roof or do something else?
Right.
And so something to have a comparison
yeah,
would be useful. And in front of people that are actually looking at building a house
yeah.
might be good.
That's the time
Yeah.
to be looking
It
at
is, it
these
is, yeah.
things.
Mhm, yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway, just thought I'd ask.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. With no other business on the agenda, then we will adjourn. So, thank you, everybody.
Little story.